Okay, got a trailer here. Customer complaint is the trailer is airing up slowly. So it takes about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes to air up his airbags. So we'll check it out. Got our glad hands hooked up. We're gonna release the brakes. All right. So right away you can tell a problem. You can't see the airbags inflating. All right. Come over here, make sure our brakes are released. Move the disc brake brake chamber in and out. We can tell the caliper's loose, so we know our brakes are released. See if we got pressure in our tank. Pressure in our tank, so we know air is getting there. Let's hop out to the height control valve. I already got some stuff loose here because I was working on this before. All right, here we are at the height control valve, and we're gonna check this out to make sure that's not our problem, that the trailer's airing up slow. So first thing I'm gonna do, and I already took this nut off, I'm gonna remove the linkage arm for the height control valve and manually operate the handle up and down to see if that's our issue. So I'll move it down into the exhaust position. You can hear it's exhausting air from the airbags. Now we had the air on here for a little while, so the airbags did air up eventually. All right, put it back in the neutral position. Now when I lift this up, we should be adding air into the trailer. And you can see right now, air is going into the airbags, but it's very slow. All right, so I'm not quite sure that it's a problem with the height control valve. I'm thinking that it's a problem with our supply. So this blue line right here is our supply for the height control valve. So the air that goes into the airbags is coming from this blue line, which if we trace this back, is coming from the pressure protection valve off of the air tank. And that pressure protection valve is set, so if we have, let's say that we have an air in our airbag right here, or yeah, air in our airbag, a hole in our airbag. If we have a hole in our airbag and it's dumping out air pressure, which is fed from the height control valve, which is fed from the pressure protection valve, which is fed from our tank, it senses that loss of pressure. There's a spring in here that has to be overcome by a certain amount of pressure, and they're usually set like 60-70 psi. If air tank pressure gets that low, it cuts off air pressure going out to these trailer accessories. So what I'm thinking is this pressure protection valve is bad. It's not delivering enough air pressure out to the height control valve, or not fast enough rather. The flow is too slow. So we will be able to test that. Right now we know our trailer is aired up. We got 110 psi in there. When I take this airline off, which is feeding the height control valve, we should have air dumping out of this airline for a little bit until this tank reaches whatever the crack pressure is on that pressure protection valve, 60-70 psi, and then it should slowly cut off. So again, I already loosened this thing up. My light. Take this airline off. All right, had a little pressure come out, but you can hear that. That air is just barely pissing out of there. It's just slowly bleeding out. And it should be a rush of pressure until that air tank drops down to 60 or 70 psi, and that should cut it off. So taking this airline off, I know my system's up to full pressure, is telling me that the pressure protection valve is locking up. All right, we're back here in our scrap yard so we can get a better view of the bogie plumbing, and we can get a better understanding of how it came to the conclusion that the pressure protection valve was bad on the trailer that was airing up slow. So this red line here, this is our emergency / parking / supply line, and this is the one in question. This is what's putting air to the airbag, so we'll trace this one out. So this is coming right from the front of the trailer from the glad hands. It's coming all the way here. It gets looped around to this T right here. This T is going to the push-pull valve for the slider pin release for the bogie. This is just a pilot pressure here, so when air pressure is present here, you shouldn't be able to operate this valve in and out. So this air from this T gets routed back into the bogie to this T right here. All right, from this T, it comes back this way, and it provides the pilot pressure for the Hendrickson Tire Max inflation system, the tire inflation system. So that's again just pilot pressure. It's not actually going anywhere. Come back to this T and we'll trace it back to the rear of the trailer. We can see this airline moving there. And from there, that air line goes right into the emergency relay valve. It's a Bendix SR5 emergency relay valve. Okay, and from there it goes to release the brakes and fills up the air tank with air. Once the air tank gets filled up with air, from there air can go to the accessories of the trailer through the pressure protection valve or valves on the trailer. So the valve in question that we were talking about is the height control, which is right here. And that height control has 3 air lines on it. This is the dump or the pilot. This is the delivery to the airbags, this red one. It's always on C1 or C2. This line right here is the supply. So the air that's going inside the airbags is coming from this air line, which is coming from the pressure protection valve. So the fact that I took this air line off right here and air was only slowly coming out and we had full tank pressure confirms that the pressure protection valve isn't working correctly. All right, we got our new pressure protection valve installed. You can see our airbags are completely flat right now, so we're gonna try airing it up, see if it airs up quicker. All right, guys, hit it. Woo. That was the brakes releasing. You see those airbags coming up quick now. That was a problem, pressure protection valve.